deals. I've got a lot of good deals because somebody who's not mechanical has decided that this car is only good for scrap. Hey, welcome back to GT Canada. This is our car stories segment. So what that means is we take some time to tell you about some of the stories about cars that we've owned in the past. Some of you have seen our $500 car challenge. So you know that we get some interesting cars and we're always out looking for a good deal. And so this is a chance for us to tell you a little bit of the backstory behind those cars. We don't have a lot of time during the actual segments to tell you all that history because we want to get to the challenges and the interesting parts of those trips. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite cars from our $500 car challenge, and that would be the Infiniti G35 sedan. So it became affectionately called James Bondo, and that was because the car had an interesting repair job on the passenger rear quarter panel, which I tried to cover up with some spray paint that was not a color match by any means, but I just kind of picked one closest. I actually took the fuel filler lid into the store with me and tried to match it up the best I could. But I mean, I'm not that great at matching paint anyway. So the story on that car, I had already bought a car for the challenge, and those that have watched enough of the challenges, you'll know that I've got some interesting cars, and I actually switched cars up probably 2 or 3 times leading up to the challenge because I just can't make up my mind which one I really want to use for the trip. So I buy one, so I've got a car, and then I can relax, and then I can sit and wait and see if something better comes along. So on that particular trip, I had a car, and it was going to work okay, but Isaac, again, he always pushes me to do better, I guess. So he had gotten himself a Volvo. I think it was a V70 station wagon, and I love the station wagons, and a Volvo is a great car. And at the time, the car I bought was a Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. Now, that is a great car. The problem was, as you know if you watched the challenge, Jacob had got a Bonneville SSEI. Now, the Bonneville SSEI and the Grand Prix GTP, they're essentially the same car. I know that the body itself, the chassis code is different. Engine same, supercharged, 220 some odd horsepower, front wheel drive, blah, 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 long wheelbase. Would have been a great car for the trip if that was the only Pontiac on the trip. But Amanda had already got a Chevy Impala. I had a Pontiac Grand Prix GTP, and Jacob had Bonneville SSEI. Now, we've got 3 GM products and Isaac's Volvo. And I didn't like the narrative that was going to be coming out of that. I mean, 3 GM cars versus a Swedish car. And that'd be kind of cool, but I already had the Volvo pegged as the winner. So we needed to spice it up, get a little bit of a better challenge. So I'm looking through Kijiji, and those of you who know, have watched the car stories already, you know that that's my go-to place to find a good deal. Here in Alberta, Kijiji is where most of the deals are had because we have a lot of people that are using that software. And so there's a lot of selection. There's a lot of inventory out there. And actually Kijiji, probably I'm not helping it and we're not helping it, but Kijiji has got a reputation for having lowballers all over. If you want to get lowballed, put something for sale on Kijiji and see what kind of offers you got coming in. So I'm scrolling through Kijiji, and I come across this guy. He was asking $1,400 for an Infiniti G35 sedan, and his ad says, "Transmission broken, needs work, mechanic special." And I love when guys pre-diagnose their cars. I've got a lot of good deals because somebody who's not mechanical has decided that this car is only good for scrap. So like, yep, this one isn't good for anything else. This is a scrap car, selling it, you can use it for parts or whatever. So I messaged the guy, hey, does the car run? He replies back, yep, it runs. Okay, so does it move? And if it doesn't move, tell me the story. What happened when it stopped moving? Where were you? What were the circumstances? Whatever. He proceeds to tell me this story about how his buddy jumped in the car and he was trying to impress some girls. So he jumped in and he grabs the shifter and he yanks it as hard as he can to put it into drive. But he didn't push the button to do it. And so the shifter kind of pops and then it just moves freely and it won't go into gear anymore. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, odds are buddy just broke off a clip, popped off the connection somehow, and that this is not a transmission issue, this is a linkage issue. And I can deal with a linkage issue. It's going to be cheap to fix. Whole transmission? No way. But a linkage issue for sure. So I said, okay, so it doesn't move right now? Do I need a trailer? He's like, yeah, no, it doesn't move. You got to bring a trailer. So I bring a trailer. I get over there and I find out the car's on the road. He had told me it was in the back. He's like, oh yeah, it's in the back alley, whatever. So I'm like, okay. I get there, it's in the front street. And I'm like, oh, hey, how'd the car get to the front? And he's like, well, I actually had a tow truck driver bring it home for me. And when he jumped in, he was able to play with something and he got it to go into gear. So he drove it onto the flat deck and then brought it to his house, drove it off the flat deck and parked it in the back. And so today, when I went to go pick up the car, he decided he'd just see if he could move it to the front street. So he jumped in, it popped right into drive, he drove it onto the front street. So I started it up, have a listen. Now this guy, he was a teenager, so that may be significant, it may not. But he seemed to enjoy partaking in substances that alter your state of mind. And at the time when I went to go pick up this car, he may or may not have been under the influence of some of these substances. I have no idea for sure. What I can say for sure is that car never got the weed smell out of it. So the whole time we did the trip, it reeked. And even when I sold it, it still smelled. So I don't know what exactly he was on, but he was clearly not 100% there at the time. So I put it in gear. I drove it forward like 5 feet, drove it back 5 feet. And I said, you know what, buddy? I don't even care. I'm taking this car. And I had got him down. He was asking $1,400. I had got him down to $450. So I was under the $500 budget. And this car, I was like, yeah, this is perfect. So I drove the car onto my trailer, towed it home, pulled it off, went for a boot around the block just to see what I was dealing with. And I actually had bought it about a month before we went on the road trip. And so what you might not have known is I actually drove that car for a month to work and back before we even did our road trip. I had pre-tested it. I knew that this thing was gonna work great because every day it started, it drove, it had all the power, it shifted good. The only problem, it had an awful bearing noise in the back end. And so I had negotiated with a guy with a parts car to get me 2 bearings, and I jacked that back end up. I could not crack those axle bolts on that rear bearing for the life of me. I tried everything, and I finally gave up. I said, you know what, I don't care, that it's definitely not coming loose. And so I drove that thing on the whole trip. The whole time the bearing got worse and worse, and I'm really confident that it was totally failed. The only thing keeping it intact would have been that nut that I couldn't get free. So my fuel mileage went down, and from the back, if you looked at it, actually the wheel is at a bit of an angle going in. I had some wicked camber only on that side because that bearing was so bad. But I did make the whole trip. My brakes actually at the end of the trip started to fail. I was metal on metal for the last quarter of the trip. So every time we went down a hill, I'd give myself space and then downshift and try to just use the transmission to brake. And then I always made sure I had one of our guys in front of me, so that if the brakes ever did completely fail or light on fire or melt off or whatever, that the plan was I was going to just go up until I touched their bumper, and then they would brake for us. Fortunately, we never had to do that, so it wasn't as exciting in the end. There was nothing on camera to show a really fun event, but we definitely had a great time driving that car. And when I got back, so I cleaned the car up, put it for sale, and I just put it back for sale for $1,400. And it took about a week to get somebody to come and have a look. And the guy that came, I was straight up and honest. I said, look, it's got a bad bearing. It's definitely a bad bearing. And he's like, oh no, it could be the rear end. Well, okay, it could be the rear end, but let me prove how it's not. And I showed him some tests that we can do to prove that it's definitely the rear bearing. He called a mechanic buddy of his, which said, oh yeah, the bearing's gonna cost you $500, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how much do you want for the car? And he's like, yeah, the guy's asking $1,200. And his mechanic buddy's like, $1,200? Yeah, you should just buy it. It doesn't matter, that's a good deal. Does it run? Yeah. Does it drive? Yeah, okay. So I sold it for $1,200, got it for $450. I had about $10 of spray paint into it, and it even had some rims. If you saw the video, and actually I've flashed some pictures of the car through this segment as well by now, so you can see it's got some sweet rims. Those rims came with the car. I mean, I essentially got some rims and a car for free. So it was a great car. I love the G35s. They are awesome cars, fun to drive. I've owned 3 of them over the years now, and I would own another one. They're just a blast. So that's how I got that car. And to this day, I think the buddy that sold it to me, sometime later that day or the next morning, he's like, bro, where's my car? And why do I have $450 in my pocket? Because he didn't keep a copy of the bill of sale. He didn't keep nothing. We did up a bill of sale on a piece of paper that we found in the car, and I paid him and just was gone. So definitely a fun time. I always have a blast going and getting some of these interesting cars, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these car stories and sort of the adventures that we go on while we're doing this fun thing. Like, it's a blast. Hey, thanks for watching another GT Canada video. We got lots of great stuff in store, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest stuff as we upload it. Comment below and watch the next video.